Greetings, metal intellectualist. Ate here. Today I want to tell you about my interview with a fascinating band from Angers in northern France. They are called Bansidh, and the lyrics are in English and in Gaulish. If you're interested in metal bands that put major effort and research into writing their lyrics, then you're going to want to hear about them. I sat down with the two main artistic forces within the band, the flutist Maxime Pauthier and the vocalist Corentin Richard, at Lidar Morgan Medieval and Metal Music Festival. The name Bansidh is a nod to the Irish mythical figure of the Banshee, a female spirit believed to announce the imminent death of a family member with her shriek. It's a fitting name for their project, as their music acts as a powerful voice calling out from the past, specifically aiming to resurrect the memory of the Gauls, who more than 2,000 years ago settled Andecavorum, the ancient name for Angers. Let's hear from Maxime and Corentin about the inspiration behind the Bansidh project.
Talking about Gymnacos, it was, let's say, the start of the beginning of their story, because in France, everyone knows Vercingétorix, that we call Vercingetorix, but it's a common hero, in fact. But Gymnacos is not well known, but he's got, in Angers where we lived, he's got a magnificent bridge with his statue. Everyone is passing through,
and they do not know who that is.
yeah, who is that guy? I don't know, but you live here. Tell me who is he? I don't know. And if the beginning of Bansidh is like, who is that guy? We want to know who it is. And when you search, you find that there is another battle after Alesia regarding the Knuckles, and we don't know that guy. I mean, it's like for us when we
Knuckles was as well maybe I'm speaking out of like my bounds, and I do not know for sure, but since Knuckles comes from Andecavorum, which is now Angers, where all of us kind of come from, it was a way to, well, it's our story, like not even Gaul as a whole, but it was this particular one, this side of history we don't know a lot about. And the more we went on, the more it was spread.
And this
like we went to like there's Andecavorum, Jagovia, Alesia, the end, this. Oh yeah, the first island is actually in this. Lebanon, which is Poitiers, which is I think 20 kilometers away from here.
Yeah.
And we just go from town to town, kind of. And this is what I liked. What I liked as well, because it was at first we were a bit confined into just something, and as a singer, thinking on the mental of someone else, I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna do this? And the more we spoke, and we really scratched this. At first, it was surface level. I was like, I am not fit for this. I'm not fit. And the more you scratch, and there's actually very interesting stories, and I learned like a lot. And I will forever be grateful, like for Bansidh, Max as a whole, because I learned a lot, and I am very keen on learning stuff always.
Bansidh are not naive or idealistic about their history. On the contrary, they recognize that their local history is not just about the Gauls, but also about the Romans who defeated them. The project has been gradually evolving to explore this cultural intertwining between the conquered and the conquerors, an evolution you can hear clearly in the song To Become One of Them from their latest album Orgeton Tiros.
when you want to grow up, you have to know where you are from.
Yeah.
And so even if it's a defeat, you are from this land, and it's good to
It's
know.
part of the story.
Yeah. It's a mix, we are Gallo and Romans. We are not just Galician.
We used to be.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
And that was actually funny when we go on stage. We are here to do Gaulish death metal, and the more we are going to go into album 3,
yeah.
we are Gaulish and Roman death metal now. Because we evolved with our stories. Hey, and this is pretty funny as well, because at some point, and even in To Become One of Them, this is actually something that is talked about, because Lebanon, which was Poitiers, is actually one of the, I think, most documented cities turning slowly into the Roman way of life. And we do speak about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to actually be speaking about slowly becoming Roman, you have to talk about, like, we did lose to Rome. So
For Bansidh, weaving ancient history into extreme metal isn't just an aesthetic choice. It's a method for teaching their audience about a forgotten past.
The main goal at first, I think, is to break cliché.
Yeah.
Is to break cliché, because in France, thanks to Asterix and Obelix, there is a lot of cliché, and even now, it's complicated.
Yeah, it's
even
still-
for us.
It's true.
When you read something, is it true? Is it not true? What do we know about that? Is it and even for us, we read a lot of historian books and so on, and even for us, sometimes it's complicated. So for somebody who doesn't know anything, to know what is true, what is fake, what is from Asterix and so on, is so to reclaim is not.
We try to be as-
The idea to teach is more accurate, I think, but it's not to teach like to teach it in a way to and to show. Maybe to show is better.
Yeah, metalheads, as Maxim said, I think they are very curious, and people are actually very eager to come to us and ask, "Oh, you speak about this, you talk about that." Sometimes in between tracks, you speak of Brad. Who is Brad? And this is a very, you can see they are eager to know more.
Yeah.
And like, I think I've been like this at first when I came to the band. I knew nothing about college history. This is, that's what Asterix Obelix. That was they eat boar.
Not at all. Not at all.
And that's about it. And the more I sang with him, the more I speak with Max, and I was like, okay, there's actually a whole
Word.
There's a whole world I know
Yes.
nothing about. And the more you learn, and I wanted to be a teacher actually, and I think it sticked with me, and I'm like, I learned a lot, and it's now my way back of teaching people and making sure people are
In a fun
as
way,
it's a very fun way to do so. I'm not in the classroom, right? To not teach anything. I get up stage and I scream my lungs off, and that's the best way I could do it.
They take this pedagogical task very seriously, striving for rigorous historical accuracy in their live performances. For instance, they have one song dedicated to the legendary Battle of 52 BCE, where the Gauls force the Romans into a retreat, and they bring a reenactor onto the stage clad in a full suit of historically accurate Gaulish armor. But Bansidh's commitment to authenticity goes beyond visuals. They strive to go as far as possible to revive the ancient landscape of Gaul. For example, they've closely studied ancient instruments and aim to mimic their frequencies and resonances within their music.
There is a thing specific to Gaulish is the scarnix. It's a very long trumpet with a boar head. I don't know if you see what it is, and it's make a very low and how would you say? It's like maybe the sound of an animal, and you have to imagine Gauls during a battle.
It actually looks like this.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
You have to imagine a lot of Gauls in a line
It's a
playing
French
trumpets, and
bellowing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bellowing and roaring, and you can hear it's very deep.
And the song Corentin made at the beginning of the song Jagovia is very close in tonality to this kind of trumpet. So
we found some of them in
Yeah, sure.
archaeological sites.
yeah, sure.
Wow.
And we have a friend of us who try to make it again,
Recreate.
to recreate. His name is Samuel, and he play in a band called Gofano or Gofana. And it's very interesting to bring back this kind of sound. It's very specific. You can do very high, but also very low.
And it's a very long process to make.
Yeah.
It's very expensive as well.
Of course.
Because there's the whole process of crafting it is
Yeah.
tedious.
And then there is the language. They compose their lyrics in English and in Gaulish, the language of the Celts of Gallia, roughly corresponding to nowadays France, Switzerland, and northern Italy. This is a monumental task. Gaulish has been an extinct language for roughly 1500 years, slowly pieced back together by modern scholars from what survives in the historical and archaeological record. Because the bulk of the surviving Gaulish vocabulary comes from a handful of ancient curse tablets and formulaic inscriptions, the band has consulted highly competent linguists to ensure that Gaulish lyrics are academically sound.
But we are very lucky to be working with
David. It was not the case on the first album. We were a bit alone to do it. And I don't know if you know, but Jean-Paul Savignac is did a book called Dictionary between French and English, but it's just some words.
Only the
And-
ones that are attested in those like 4 tablets, it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
little.
absolutely. Yeah, that's the
English.
guy. Yeah, but so we did that with this vocabulary. But sometimes the Gaulish use some Gaulish words with Latin grammar.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's Greek grammar with the same words. It's very complicated for us, and we are not, we are not specialists on that. So
There's
when
another question.
and I thought in history David was a fan of Bansidh and came to us.
Yeah,
we didn't.
yeah.
We didn't seek for
him.
one.
He
Yeah.
came. That's the best thing that actually came to us. Yeah.
And I know that to make a link with your last question with Elevati, David is working with Edward Hatfield, and Edward Hatfield is the lyric maker of Elevati for the Gaulish lyrics. So it's very cool to have that guy on our
And
side.
it's pretty funny because it's a small world. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
And in the end, we ended up working with them with Elevate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So this David, he is an historian, is a linguist, I guess.
Yeah, it's a linguist, and it's he do some research, and I don't know how to say that, but during the weekend he's in some tribes trying to
Live the Gaulish lifestyle.
Oh, so he's
that's-
a
that's
reenactor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Or
As a druid,
I think he's a
Oh.
Yeah.
It must be
Which,
cool.
and which is why he's so, I think, tied to the whole religious kind of type of thing, because I'm pretty sure he can feel it.
Yeah.
This is like, he's not bullshitting us. Like when he say, I saw them, I have seen the word, I trust him fully.
Bansidh also injects a bit of their own original mythology inspired by what we know about the Gauls into their recreations. Their concept albums use a mix of folklore, like the titular spirit in the song Bansidh, real historical figures like the chief Dumnakos, and fictional characters like the main character they've invented, Bran Dubnos, who weaves throughout their discography as an eyewitness to the unfolding epics. One really fascinating creative decision Bansidh has made is that Corentin has developed distinct vocal registers for different characters within their stories.
Like I've been singing for, I think, 10 years or so. And most of the times, at least when it comes to screaming, to growls and high pitch and fry screams, everything, most of the time it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
And there's actually, I would say, 3 or 4 different screams. I have one for the Bansidh Hutols, which is the very high-pitched voice, the very high one. When it's Dumnakos or Bran, it is a very growly voice, very low voice. And Bran's voice was actually, which is our fictional character, we put in the songs to have someone who navigates between we didn't want to be like omniscient, like storytellers. We wanted someone to be in there,
Inside, yeah.
someone who actually goes and
lives.
someone who knows. So Bran, which is Dumnakos, Thiopun, kind of, Bran looks up to Dumnakos. And since we have Bran going left and right, he has his own voice. And the more he evolved, the more he is getting to sound like Dumnakos.
Bansidh's 2023 album Orgeton Tiros features some heavy hitters from the Celtic metal scene. Michalina Mallet, formerly of Eluveitie and currently in Lirre, provides hurdy-gurdy on Killed by Ice Cream, and Kriegel, the mastermind behind Eluveitie, lends his iconic voice for 2 tracks, Nedda Magromagus and Setu Salesia. Let's hear Corentin and Maxime reminisce about what it was like working with the legend himself.
It was during the COVID period, and I think on Instagram he put some text. He said, "I'm open to artists if you want to collab with me." I didn't see the word, but our artwork maker, Saint Martin, saw that. Said, "Nice, let's have a guy. Okay." So he just, "Hey, we are a small group from France. Okay, no problem. Gaulish, Irish music, metal. I mean, give me your number." I was like, "Sure." Yeah. It was crazy, and the big thing is not the result, but how we make it together. Because especially on the text, he was very precise.
I was saying we have never been schooled. No, we have. This is the only guy who actually.
So
And
precious.
and even the English, not pronunciation, but sometimes the wording, he was like, in this sentence, I would see the very first Alicia draft was the Gaulish were coming, shield and sword in hand, and he was like, no,
You have to be
sword
sword and shield
sword
because
before,
you are
like,
attacking.
yeah,
so
you are.
use your sword
Even
first.
though they are
Yeah.
defending Alicia,
Wow.
they are coming. They are coming for you. They are coming sword first. They are not coming shield first. And I was like, okay.
That makes sense.
He's a big guy.
And I'm gonna listen
Wow.
to Papa.
Yeah.
Before we sat down for this interview, I handed Corentin and Maxime the Metal Intellectualist survey, which I've been distributing to hundreds of metalheads at festivals across the US and Europe to gather anthropological data on the metal community's views on lyrics, religion, and society. When I asked them which questions they found the most thought-provoking, Maxime brought up an interesting point.
Your religion question are very interesting, and I will follow you to maybe I want to know what my colleagues will answer that because it's quite touchy.
Yeah.
What can I say on that? It's at first when I was into the Gaulish movements and so on, I have an idea of the Christianism very bad, in a way that for me it was the bad guys who erased everything about mythology and so on. And you can't do some research with that mindset. You have to change because if you read more religious and let's say Christian history, you will find some Gaulish, small parts Gaulish mythology inside. You know what I mean? Because it's not a full erased, it's a mixed.
Yeah.
So and that's why we did the song Anarios. It's typically the same. We have difficulties to find some info about the gods, the Gaulish gods, and so on. But what we have is some interdiction from the
Anarios would be
Mm.
translated to
It's
forbidden.
forbidden. It's
or
forbidden.
something you do not do.
Yeah,
And
because later, let's say, in 200 years after the Gaulish, we find something. It was written by the Pope, and it was a list of what the pagan don't have to do. It's forbidden for them to do. And but what we say is, if it's forbidden, they did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so we can find some infos like that by using some Christian writing to solve a problem and to find what the Gaulish did in the past.
What Bansidh is doing proves that folk metal does not have to settle for fantasy tropes or drinking anthems. By treating the stage as a living, breathing classroom and by treating a dead language as a vital instrument, they bring the ghosts of ancient Gaul to life in the modern era. If you want to support musicians who put this level of intellectual effort into their art, go stream Orgeton Tiros and support Bansidh directly. A third album is coming soon. Corentin was tight-lipped about what is going to happen to Bran, but he promises that they have some major intrigue up their sleeve. That's it for today. Hope you found the Bansidh guys as cool as I did. Keep your minds sharp and your riffs heavy. See you in the next one.
Thank you very much. This was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking with me. Let's shake hands. Thank you, Corentin.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
And for once, it was very, very cool to not focus on the actual, let's say, the usual questions. Yeah.
I know this has to be the most interesting interview.
Yeah.
I've had.
In
Not
10
to
years.
say, not to
In
say
10 years.
anyone we've been interviewed by in any way, shape, or form. But this is, oh my god!
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you
That's
so
great.
much.
Please
Maybe.
bring us more.